Hello viewers, this Not Too Fast here. In a previous video I did a full review of the Rove R2-4K dashcam, and in that video I mentioned that I'll do a second video showing you how to install the ROVE Hardwire Kit. Now for this you will need to purchase the ROVE Hardwire Kit that you see right here, and after you install this into your vehicle, the dashcam can be set up to do time-lapse recording or motion detection recording while the vehicle is parked. In this video I'll show you what comes with this kit, how to install it, and take a look at the parking mode recording. There are lots of information to cover, so make sure you watch the entire video. So let's open this up. This is a car battery voltage protection circuit. This is a voltage tester, a set of fuse taps, plastic pry tool, and the user manual. So let's first take a look at this hardwire cable. On the right side here, there's a mini USB connector. You plug this into the dashcam. In the middle is the voltage protection circuit. Let's have a closer look at this box. Now if you look at the bottom, there are different voltages marked on the sticker here. And these voltages correspond to the selector switch you see right here. This is where you can set the cutoff voltage for the car battery. Right now it's set to 11.8 volt. You can also slide the switch over and set it to 12 volt or 12.2 volt, and the last one on the right is 12.4 volt. So depending on what voltage you set this to, when the dashcam is operating in parking mode, the car battery will slowly drain, and once it reaches this voltage level, then this box will automatically shut off the output voltage going to the dashcam. Now I recommend you set this to 12 volt or 12.2 volt. Now keep in mind at 12 volt, the car battery is at 50% capacity. And if you let it drain further, it might be difficult for you to start the car. So set this to 12 volt or 12.2 volt. Over here is a parking mode switch. By default is in the left position. If you're using this hardwire kit for the Rove dashcam, just leave this switch in the default position. If you're using this hardwire kit for other dashcams and you're noticing the dashcam is not working properly, like say if you're driving and the dashcam goes into parking mode, then you want to slide the switch over to the right side. On the left side, these three wires will go to your fuse box. The black wire will connect to chassis ground, red wire will connect to constant 12 volt, and the yellow wire will connect to ignition 12 volt. And to connect the yellow and red wire to your fuse box, you need to use one of these fuse taps you see right here. Now this is a very nice hardwire kit because they've included the different fuse types that you'll find in different vehicles. So for example, this is the ATC fuse. This one here is a mini fuse. And this one is a low profile mini. And this one here is a Micro2 fuse. So you have a set of the yellow ones and a set of the red ones. Depending on what fuse type you have in your vehicle, find a fuse that will fit in your fuse box, and then you'll need one of each. So for example, on my Nissan vehicle, it uses a low profile mini. So I'll take this one and this one. When you install this in your fuse box, connect the yellow fuse tap to the yellow wire and the red fuse tap to a red wire. And plug this end into your fuse box. So now let's take this to the vehicle, get it installed, and I'll show you how to set up the dashcam, and we'll also take a look at the parking mode recording. To install the hardwire kit, locate the fuse box in your vehicle, remove the cover. Which fuse you tap into the fuse box for the ignition 12 volt or constant 12 volt will differ between make and model of vehicles. A good starting point is to look at the back of the fuse panel cover. Here you'll find a sticker that'll tell you which fuse is for what circuit. So for example, this 10 amp fuse that's marked electric parts BAT2 will give me constant 12 volt. And this other fuse at the top here with a 20 amp fuse marked power socket accessory 1, this will give me ignition 12 volt. Now make sure you don't tap into any circuit that's critical to the operation of the vehicle. So you don't want to tap onto a circuit for your ABS or SRS airbag. With this hardwire kit, they did include this volt tester. So if you don't have a multimeter, this can be very handy to have. To use it is very simple. Connect the alligator clamp to a chassis ground. With this probe here, probe any of the fuse you're testing. So here you can see there's a digital display to show you the voltage reading. Now for the filming of this video, I'll go ahead and use my multimeter, which has a bigger display so you can see the voltage reading. But if you're doing this at home, this tester will work really well. So here I'll take out the 10 amp fuse, that's for the constant 12 volt. Next I'll use a multimeter to test which side of the fuse has a voltage coming in. Set the multimeter to measure DC voltage. Connect the negative probe to the chassis ground. Here I'll use an alligator clip. Clip it to the probe. And on the other end of this wire, I'll clip it to a chassis ground. With the fuse removed, I'll first probe the left side of the fuse slot. It's 0 volt. Now probe the right side, and it's showing 12.3 volt. So this tells me the voltage is coming in on the right side, goes through the fuse, and then out on the left side. Looking at the fuse tap, you see there are 2 fuse slots. The top slot is for your accessory, so the voltage will come in on the left side, go through the top fuse, and then go out to the accessory. With the bottom fuse, the voltage will come in on the left side, go through the fuse, and then out on the right side. And this completes the original circuit. So you want to install the original fuse from the fuse box in the bottom slot, and then install your own fuse for the top accessory slot. So when you install this fuse tap, make sure the left side is where the voltage is coming in, and the right side is where the voltage is going out. Here I'll install the original fuse in the bottom slot, and now I'll install the accessory fuse in the top slot. With the voltage coming in on the right side, I'll install the fuse tap in this direction. Now with the 12 volt ignition fuse, if your ignition is off, when you test it, it'll be 0 volt, and when you turn on the ignition, it'll give you 12 volt. So right now I have the probe on the fuse. I'll turn on the ignition, and you see it's 12 volt. Now I'll turn off the ignition, and it'll go back to 0 volt. Now remove the 20 amp fuse, that's for the ignition 12 volt. Here I'll install the 20 amp fuse in the bottom slot of the fuse tap. Now install this fuse tap in the fuse slot. The top fuse tap is for ignition 12 volt, and the bottom fuse tap is for constant 12 volt. On this wiring harness, connect the yellow wire to the yellow fuse tap and the red wire to a red fuse tap. With the black wire, you'll need to connect this to chassis ground, and on this vehicle, I'll connect this to a bolt behind the hood release. If you want to check to see if the ground point or ground bolt is good, use a multimeter set to measure resistance, connect the negative lead to a good ground point, put the other probe on the grounding bolt, and it should give you close to a 0 ohm resistance. This way I will know the bolt I'm using is a good ground. Here I install the ground wire on this bolt. With everything installed, put the cover back on. Run the USB cable up to the headliner going to the dashcam. Plug the mini USB connector to the dashcam's power input port. With the Hardwire Kit installed, you need to go into the setup menu and enable the hardwire parking mode feature. To do that, press the menu button. Video settings. Scroll down. Now this one here is a regular parking mode that uses the internal battery. If you have this enabled, go ahead and turn this off. Scroll down to the next page. Right here is a 24-hour auto parking mode. And this one is the hardwire parking mode feature. Press OK. By default it's off. Now you can set this for time-lapse recording at 1 frame per second or motion detection recording. Now with the time-lapse recording, once you turn off the ignition, the dashcam will begin recording in low frame rate at 1 frame per second. At any time, if it detects an impact to the vehicle, the dashcam will record a 1-minute video at regular frame rate. After that, it will go back to time-lapse recording. Now if you set it to motion detection recording, when you turn off the ignition, the dashcam will go into standby mode. If it detects any motion in front of the camera's field of view, then it will begin recording. Now it will continue recording as long as there's motion. Once the motion is stopped, then the dashcam will go back into standby mode. Now with this setting, if it detects an impact to the vehicle, it will also record a 1-minute video clip in normal frame rate. So let's first try the time-lapse recording mode. And here is reminding you this feature will not work unless you install the Hardwire Kit. Yes, turn on. Now you also want to set the sensitivity of the G sensor. Scroll down to G sensor, select OK. You can set it from 1 all the way down to 9. 9 is the least sensitive, and 1 is the most sensitive. Now you can press menu to exit. System settings, video mode. Now you can also tell it's set to most sensitive by looking at this icon here with a G. There are 3 bars next to it. If all 3 bars are green, that means the G sensor is set to most sensitive. Now turn off the ignition. Video The LCD will stay on for a short time and then turn off. Now the dashcam is recording at 1 frame per second. Also, the LED indicator at the top left-hand corner will flash red. I should also mention any of the parking mode recording videos is saved in a separate folder named RO. And you'll see this if you connect the dashcam to a computer using the USB cable, or if you take the memory card out and put it into a card reader on your PC. Now let's try the motion detection parking mode recording. Go to menu. Go to 24-hour auto parking mode. Now select the motion detection. Okay. Okay. Press menu to exit.
System settings. Video mode.
Now turn off the ignition. The LCD display will stay on for a few seconds and then turn off.
Video mode.
There's an icon up top here with a man running that tells you it's in motion detection mode. Now whenever it detects motion, it'll record the video until motion is no longer detected. While it's in the motion detection mode, I'll simulate an impact by hitting the A-pillar. That 3 beep you heard tells you it's now recording the 1-minute video clip. So for those of you who would like to get the Rove R2-4K dashcam and want to also install the Hardwire Kit, I hope you found this video to be helpful. As you can see, this dashcam gives you a lot of flexibility on how to set up your parking mode recording. You can set it up for time-lapse recording or motion detection recording. Now if you did not see the full review video on the Rove R2-4K dashcam, I'll link it at the end of this video and also include the link below. Also, the information I presented in this video will help anyone that wants to install a dashcam Hardwire Kit. Now if you want to pick up this dashcam and the Hardwire Kit, check out the links below. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching this video. To support this channel, remember to click on thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the notification bell so you get notified of new videos.